Welcome. I'm Janelle Kolaski, a career mindset coach and actor.
And I'm Amanda Dubois, a self-authenticity and prosperity life coach and actor as well. And we're your co-host of Mindset Artistry YouTube channel,
where we teach you the art of discovering and using your mindset
to build a career and life you desire.
And today we're going to be talking about rest, which is, well, and Amanda knows this about me, has not always been one of my strong suits. And so I'm going to get into that. I'm going to talk a little bit about my own personal relationship with rest or lack thereof. And then we're going to talk about how to find what rest means to you, how to work it in regularly into your schedule, whether that means weekly, monthly, or some other point in the year. There's different types of rest for different times, and how resting or not resting has an impact on your career. Hello, everybody that's just joining. So for me, I come from a small town and my brother has autism, and so insurance didn't cover everything he needed. My parents had to fund a lot of that, and things were fine until my dad got laid off. And things got real. And my brother deserved all the help that he got, but we were almost evicted 4 times. Our car was taken away in the middle of the night. And it really built up in me this scarcity mindset, as you can imagine. And we had enough and people helped us out, but I promised myself that I would never be without. And it made me such a driven person to the point where I've always had 2 or more jobs. And I'm not saying that's healthy, but for me today, I want you to understand that most people, especially when I'm speaking to my clients, and I know within myself, the reason they don't rest is because of a scarcity mindset. They're afraid that if they take a break, they're going to miss out on something because there's so much to do, especially as an actor or model or host or whatever you're doing. But I'm speaking to people in fashion entertainment. That's who I work with. There's so much that we have to do for our careers. It can feel like you can't take a break. And so growing up that way, where we really didn't have a lot, I was 13, going around the neighborhood, mowing lawns for money. And then when I was 15, I was working at Taco Bell, 16, Taco Bell, a gas station, and McDonald's. And I had all these jobs. And that was great for a while. But then it started to wear on me to the point where eventually my back gave out and I couldn't walk for a week. I couldn't walk this happened only a few years ago now, or maybe just a year and a half. And, early 30s, not being able to walk. And it's because I didn't take the time to rest. And it was just such a fear-based mentality. I didn't feel like I was enough. I didn't feel like I was around to grab every opportunity that anybody would give me one. And so what we're going to talk about today is really finding what rest means to you. Hello, everybody that's just joining. Can I get some hearts up in here? See what you guys are up to. Happy Wednesday. Hello. So everybody rests in a different way. Some people literally like to take a nap. I'm not really a napper. I kind of just go, and then I collapse on the floor. Amanda knows this, which probably isn't the best. But for me, meditation, stretching, yoga, journaling, taking weekend trips, even just taking a day, having moments to myself, maybe hours alone at home where nobody else is around. Because a lot of times when I talk about rest, it can be overwhelming to people because the biggest thing I hear is I don't have time to rest. And as I stated earlier, I get that because there's this scarcity mindset that there's too much to be done. So first you have to find out what works for you. And so I said the meditation and the taking the trips. And sometimes it can even just be sitting down on a park bench or wherever and just being calm and not doing anything at all. And this is a very, very important thing that I have to share with you is that if you don't take time to rest, you will be forced to. If you do not take time to rest, you will be forced to take a rest. That my back went out, I broke my foot. And that's because I was just go all the time. And everyone around me was like, Janelle, you have to take care of yourself. And I was like, but I can't stop working. Who's going to take care of me? Where's the next job going to come from? What's going to happen? And it didn't feel safe to rest. And so my whole point of this live today is to teach you that not only is it safe to rest, but also it'll open you up to having a more calm perspective and an ability to tune in into your own intuition and what you actually need in regards to your career to take the next steps forward. So before I move on to the next 2 points, Amanda, can you tell me a little bit about what rest means to you?
So yeah, I need rest.
It's just a matter of fact. I need it. I know exactly when I do. I'm the same type of person that I'll keep going and going and going to the point that I lose my sense of connection with creativity, my purpose, connecting with myself, others. Taking a break and taking a period of rest is necessary to reset myself in order to execute anything that I have going on in my life. Also, to have clarity, because when you are so caught up in the goals and aspirations, and we all have that, that scarcity mindset of, if I don't do it now, somebody else will pick up the torch. Like, that's not the case. It's not true. And that's why you're here joining us, is that you know that your mindset can change. But when you have that scarcity mindset, you're going to keep going, because you think that if you do stop for a split second, you will lose momentum and you will lose your chance. But it's actually the opposite. You won't lose momentum. You'll actually probably gain even more momentum, because you're allowing your body to catch up to maybe your mind, or your mind catching up to your body, whatever, vice versa, and align itself so that you can continue to move forward. Maybe there's a thought or creative ideas that you were so busy doing all the other things that you actually let slip by. They could have propelled you forward, because you were fearful of slowing down and stopping to listen. It's like slowing down and looking up and looking at the sky and looking at the trees and looking at the birds. That is a period of rest to digest the beauty around you, to digest and take in where you are in your current life and space. It is allowing you to be all for yourself and present. So I need it, because I'm the type of person that if I don't, again, I will eventually get to the point that I'm holding on certain emotions, and they can be brought out in different situations that they don't belong, whether it's anger, frustration, and most of the time it's not with anyone else, but it's with myself. And so if I'm not addressing those emotions, and we all have that, then I am going to actually direct it to someone it's not their fault and it's not their responsibility, it's mine. So I have to take responsibility for that. And I just feel like it's necessary. So if you think that you are struggling, or you're afraid of taking that break or taking a nap because maybe you will let somebody down, or it won't be enough, or you see everybody else going and going and going, that's not you. It's them. And you don't know what they're doing in between those moments. You really don't know. So stop assuming. I just posted something today, as the ambulance will pass by, is mind your business. And I mean that for sure. I mean that for real. Mind your business. Put your mind into the things that you want, not everybody else's stuff, because they're only going to show you what they want and what they want you to believe. Not the truth, not the tears, not the anger, unless they're really vulnerable like that, great. But most of the time they don't. So I'll leave it at that. And ladies, you look wonderful. Yes, we do need rest to rejuvenate mind and body. Love you, ladies. That's my mama, by the way.
Yes, thanks, Mama. You look gorgeous all the time. No, Amanda's mom is beautiful. She is. See, Amanda and her mom, gorgeous ladies. Yes, and thank you, Amanda, for bringing up those points. I'm going to talk more, my last point, about how resting guides your career. Hi, Nikki. And so the second point I want to make is how to work it into your schedule. So it really takes a lot of trial and error. For me, I didn't know what actually helped me relax, because I hadn't done it. So don't judge yourself. You might, for some people, taking a bubble bath is relaxing. I love that. I know people that don't want anything to do. Hi, Rachel. Hello, everybody. Give us some hearts. We want to see you up in here. Hello, hello. Yes. And there's some people that don't want to take a bubble bath at all, don't want to be anywhere near that. Other people want to take a walk. Other people go for a jog, and that's relaxing for them. Other people just sit down and watch movies all day. Excuse the noise, we're in New York City. Sit down and watch movies all day long. Some people cook, whatever. I'm just saying all these things because you really got to do trial and error to see, like, tune in with your body. What makes me feel the most relaxed? Because that's really step one. And it took me a long time to figure that out. And something I'm really noticing is breath work really helps me regulate again. And so then the next point is how to work that into your schedule, because this is the biggest thing I hear. I don't have time. A little bit goes a long way, and that is something I had to learn. You got to get at least a little bit of rest in, because as I said, if you don't plan for it, it will happen to you. You'll get sick. Something will break, my back, my foot, whatever. And so that's why I said every morning I like to really have a 2-hour morning, getting ready for the day, stretching, doing all these things, journaling, all this stuff. Sometimes I can't, but instead of doing something for 20 minutes, even doing it for 5, and Amanda and I talk about this all the time, it's something. Because if you just drop your hello, if you drop these things that bring you rest completely, which I am very guilty of, it will add up and it will stack up and it will have a negative impact, as Amanda was saying, and how you interact with people, and you will be blocked creatively in other ways. And so the way you can fit into your schedule is try things out. Okay, I figured out kind of what makes me feel relaxed, what I define what is actually restful. Okay, this week I'm going to try doing 1 thing or 2 things. Hello. And then, okay, maybe that didn't work out. So now I'll just do this 1 thing and try something else. And the point is to just stay consistent and show up for yourself consistently. And for me, because I'm an actor, sometimes it's really scary to plan a vacation, because it seems like when you plan the vacation, that's when the work rolls in and you're like, all right, well, I guess if I want to work, I'm going to plan something. But now that we're in the time of self-tape world, everybody has opinions about that. But the beauty is I was in Paris and I had 2 self-tapes and I was able to submit them because I could tell casting, yeah, I'll definitely be back in the States by then. And so it's much easier to plan vacations, but it could even be a day trip, or it could be a staycation. Everybody get out of the house. I need this space. Maybe you go to a hotel room, whatever. Amanda knows I used to take day trips or weekend trips upstate New York because I noticed I was crying every single week. Having breakdowns in New York City. And I was like, I can't live like this. I need to at least go upstate and be with nature. So really find what works for you. And then a little bit goes a long way. My weekend trips, I kind of put in my calendar every 6 weeks, I'm going to try to get away out of the city, at least for 1 day. And maybe you had to move it here or there, but the intention was on the calendar. And we talk a lot about intentions. And anything else you do, the little things, like yesterday I had a lot of pain in my hip, and normally the person's like, oh, well, I can't do 45-minute stretching routines to give it up. I'm like, no, Janelle, just do 10 minutes. Your body needs that. And so before I move on to the last point, I'd love to hear what you have to add to that, Amanda.
Yes, as I was writing some notes, I was like, ooh, I've got this idea and I've got that idea. So think about it this way: when you think that you are constantly going, the idea of taking a break and taking a period of rest is taking control back of your life. Because what happens is you get so focused on the goals or other people or the world around you that you give your control away and your energy away. You deplete yourself like a balloon, and you poke it with a little needle, and it's slowly depleting little by little, to the point that when you're actually excited to do something that you want to do and it comes up, you're like, no offense, and part of my French, but you're like, fuck, I can't do it because I don't have the energy to. I didn't make the time to. I can't get out of bed today, or I'm actually sick. So that's one thing, is like, think about it, taking back control of your life and choosing to take back control, because it's always a choice. And what I will say is that the whole trial and error thing, also be patient, because what's going to happen is, because if you haven't taken time for rest, or a period of time or a period of rest to carve out that space for you, what's going to happen is you're going to be very resistant against it. You're going to fight it. You're going to have that part of your brain where it's going to tell you, don't do this, don't, and it's going to fight you. And it's going to be an internal battle that you're going to have to address. So don't give up so quickly. Even it may feel uncomfortable in the moment, like taking a break, going out for lunch, or whatever the case may be, is do it. Because I'm telling you, at the end of that, even if it's 5 minutes, at the end of it, you won't realize it until after how beneficial it was. I used to have this mindset when I used to work at a 9 to 5. I used to get to the point where I didn't go out for work for lunch. I would get my lunch and sit at my desk and just sit there and continue to do work. And when I did that, by the time I got home or hit 5 o'clock, I was ready to go. I was like, I gotta go. It was just so depressing. And then I stopped finding the joy to go back to work the next day. And then every day, the depression, the anxiety, the stress started to build up even more to the point that it was so uncontrollable. Oh, please, I need to talk to you, please. Sure. I'm one of us. It got to the point that my depression and anxiety and all that built up to the point that I couldn't perform properly at work. I couldn't interact with people. I didn't know what I was even doing. It was like I was a zombie walking through life and kind of going through a routine. I was very robotic. I developed this robotic sense of moving through life. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be light and love and being joyous and find the things. And we're going to have the ebbs and flows of life. It's the reality. You're not going to have great days all day, but you should expect great things to happen to you every single day, even if it's just a moment. Okay. And then, like I said, just get out of your comfort zone. I know what it's like. Listen, you might be struggling just even hearing this. You're like, oh gosh, no, ooh, the itchiness in the body. You feel it somewhere is in your chest. You're like, Amanda, Janelle, I can't do that. No one else is doing it. Oh, I can't. But no one else is you. No one else is you. And you need to listen to what your body and your mind needs. Just like I did. And when I did, and when I always come back, I always feel refreshed. I feel better. I took a 3-week vacation and went to Italy and Greece. And I did it solo in Greece, not in Italy, but in Greece, I did a solo trip. And it was the best moment of my life because I wasn't really thinking. I was just enjoying the moment. And so now I come back and I'm able to do those things. I'm able to incorporate that little bit of knowledge, not a little bit, but a lot of like the epiphany moments into my current space. So I will leave it at that because I know Nell has some more amazing things to talk about, but go ahead.
And it looked like a good time. You got to check out Amanda's blog. She has some gorgeous photos. She had a great time. And it got a little cute little bracelet from there. So thank you. But thank you for all of that. And everybody, if you're just joining us, we're talking about rest and how to incorporate it into your routines. Listen to this while I was at work wishing I could take a nap. Oh, let's sing, I could sing you a lullaby. And yeah.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
When I did my 9 to 5 and I was really working, I used to take 5-minute naps in the bathroom. Like, I'm not even joking. And I needed it. So I would go to the bathroom. And no lie, and it probably was disgusting, but I would sit on the toilet with my pants on, obviously, and just take a 5-minute nap. Just take a 5-minute nap. I'm like, and then that would be like, I'm like, yeah, what's up? Oh, you in the bathroom quite long? I sure was.
Girl, I used to sleep when I worked at a gas station in the back room. Like, I put my head on like one of those containers that like holds all like the soda cans. So you do what you got to do. But Rachel, you have to stay awake because you're working. But thank you for joining us. We love you. That's your song. Anyway, and also, I love that. Oh, it's good to laugh. It's healthy for the mind and body. Like I said, before we move on to last point, remember, find out what rest means to you. Yes, laughter is also rejuvenating and is a form of rest. For me, I love to dance. This past week, I was like Miss Social in New York City, and I was swing dancing with the most random people ever, just twirling and laughing my head off. And I was out till 2 a.m, but the next day I was so rejuvenated. I might look like hell, but my soul was like, yeah. And it just, and so it's really finding what rest means to you. And then, yeah, it might be overwhelming to work it into your schedule. So as I said, just do a little bit. Thank you for reminding everybody, because people can be very resistant, including myself. Well, I'll rest when I have time. No, you have to make the time. It's a non-negotiable, as I said in our post earlier this week. When you're looking at your week and you're planning the week, you plan the work you already have scheduled and you plan your rest. You plan the work you already have scheduled, like non-negotiable work, maybe like a doctor's appointment, stuff like that, and you plan your rest. It is just as important as your work. And a lot of people are afraid to do that because they feel like there's an inflexibility to that, and that's kind of overwhelming. But look, if you make the plan, and like I said, you don't fully go through with the whole hour of rest or something, even just doing a little bit will go a long way. Take it from me. It's really true. It can go such a long way. And the last thing, hello. I'm going to address, and Amanda brought this up earlier, is how resting will actually guide your career. As a person and I still have to fight scarcity mindset around money many times. But having a scarcity mindset around opportunity. Well, if I'm not always available all the time, they're not going to call me because I'm not enough, or I'm going to miss what I need to do, or the person that I need to meet. And so I always have to be ready, sleeping with one eye open. And it just comes down to a scarcity mindset. But the thing is, not only fear of a lack of opportunity, but people are afraid to prioritize what they need to do for their careers and their lives. But it's all connected. Prioritizing what you need to do involves goals and showing up consistently, but you have to be able to listen to yourself. You are guiding your career. It is your journey. It's not about other people. It's not about what other people are doing. It's not about what works with them. It's not how other people rest. It's none of that. So if you're not really tuning into who you are and your intuition, it's going to be hard to find the moves you need to make for your career. So I tell people, prioritize the big things that really light you up and will push your career forward in the beginning of the week. And that also includes rest. But if you don't rest, you can't hear your voice. And if you can't hear your voice, you can't prioritize. Some of the biggest things that have happened to me came out of me resting because I was grounded enough to just follow my intuition. Just like called my manager, hey, I saw this show. I think I should be on it. Can you get me an audition? She was like, okay, yes, she did. I had a good time because I was rested and feeling confident and loving myself, and I'd done the healing work and all these things, and I booked it. And there's so many different stories. I'm not saying that it's like a one size fits all, but when I book work and when I connect to people, it's when I'm rested and grounded and loving myself and feeling good. Not like, ooh, the scarcity and oh, I have to be enough and all this. That's not when I book work. That's not when I make connections. And so I really want the thing you take away from today is that in order for you to have a successful career in however you define success, whatever you want, your dreams to come true, you have to include rest. And it's okay. It'll take an adjustment. It took me a long time. And sometimes I still struggle with resting, but then Amanda will see it. I will see it. I'll catch it. I'm like, should have taken a little break there. Look what happened. And wasn't judging myself, but it was like, see, just needed to rest and the right answers will come. Same thing if I have an audition, if I'm too tired, I am not filming it at night. I'm going to get a good night's rest. I'm going to wake up and do it in the morning. And so don't be afraid to prioritize yourself. Don't be afraid that if you rest, you'll be able to hear the clear voice, which is what you think and what you want and not what everybody else wants. That's when big things happen. And you deserve to rest and you deserve your dream, because if you have it, it can be a reality. It just comes down to consistency, listening to yourself, and taking care of your mind, body, and soul. Amanda, do you have anything to add?
Well, no, I love everything that you touched on today. I think it's in order for us to grow, and I talk about this all the time, and it's things that I have worked on and continue to be working on. We're a being that's continuing to evolve, to change, to embrace everything around us. So you have to move with it as well. And it's necessary to take rest. It's necessary to understand and be still, to know what your mind is telling your body, what your body is telling your mind. Like, girl, you need to check on your liver or something. Like, you might want to check on that back. Like your ankle getting a little weak. Like, those things, your body's going to tell you. Your body will legit tell you if you take the time to actually be still and listen, right? And that, again, go for a walk. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can be very realistic, and it can be the simplest thing, but simple things go a long way. You can pour from an empty cup, right? Nikki, I love that. So you have to, it's great to constantly be going and learning new things and great, but when you learn something, when you're absorbing all these things, how are you going to implement that into the world and your actions and your life around you if you're not taking the time to consume it and in a way let it rest for a bit and kind of comprehend and link with your mindset currently and all the things, or like have that aha moment? You won't be able to be honest, because you'll be like, all right, on to the next. You're like, well, wait a minute, you just learned this mathematical problem and it was crazy, but you solved it. Can you also like take a break and go, wow, now how can I learn? How can that help something else? right? You'll have those moments, but you have to, again, take the breaks, take the space. The only way you listen, you can do everything you want. You have to also remember you have to make the time, and that you have the time. So I know it feels like you don't have the time to rest, you don't have the time for this, but if you actually paid attention to the amount of time that you're on your phone, talking BS, concerning yourself about other people's lives, gossiping, arguing, and all the things that are unnecessary, that are really bad for your health, that's probably consuming about 80% of your life. And the 20% is literally you rushing to show up for work on time, or being work present, here for your partner, for your kids, and all the things. Like, you're consumed, you overloaded your mind with a lot of the bullshit, the busy work. I'm sorry, and I'm very guilty for that as well. This is why I know. I'm like, oh yeah, I need to sweep my floor. I guess I'll do that first before I actually do my task that I set out yesterday to do today. No, I gotta sweep my floor. I should shave my dog. Oh, maybe I'm hungry. And it's like, ma'am, sit your ass down and spend about 5 minutes to do what you said you were gonna do. And then you'd be surprised in 20 minutes the task is done, or now you found the momentum to keep going. And also give yourself time frames for certain things. If you start a task, give yourself like a period of time, an hour or two, and then after that hour or two, take a break. Because again, you'll be so like consumed in it, you may miss something, you may miss a mistake, you may be exhausted. So when you come back with fresh eyes, you're like, wow, I spelled the wrong. And it's in a very important email. Yeah, doesn't look so good. So take that break.
What are your thoughts about this episode?
Drop it in the comments and let us know what you want to dive into next.
Subscribe, like, share, and click the link below to book a free consultation. And
we'll see you next time.